welcome back to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, and today I'm happy to bring you issue number 39, Brother Blood. And for those of you who don't know, this is one of the Teen Titans' primary villains. He's been around since the 1980s with the new Teen Titans when they debuted with by Wolfman and Perez. And he's been around for a long while. He's proven to be one of their most deadly villains, that's for sure. He's sort of twisted. He's a cult leader, and the new incarnation of him actually drinks people's blood. It's an interesting character, which of course we will cover in the magazine, which will tell us pretty much everything we need to know about Brother Blood here. And we also learn there have been several incarnations of the character. And then we'll take a look at the figure itself, covering the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, another surprising figure here. He falls into sort of the same category as Hitman did, with the you have to buy it to appreciate it, I think, kind of category. But anyway, without further ado, issue number 39 of the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, Brother Blood. First up, the character section. And it's here we learn that the title of Brother Blood has actually been handed down from one generation to the next. The original Brother Blood was a 13th century clergyman who turned against the church. So using this mystical cloak, he became absolute ruler of the nation and the church in that nation. He would also bathe in the blood of his fallen foes to A, prove a point, and B, because he believed it helped to give him his supernatural abilities. Jump ahead to the 1940s, and we find the 7th Brother Blood being murdered by his son, again fulfilling the prophecy, and we now have the 8th man to call himself Brother Blood. But this man decides that a simple country isn't enough, and he sets out to take over the world. At one point in time, the 8th Brother Blood actually came close to defeating the Teen Titans when he had taken control of Raven. Just as the 8th Brother Blood is about to return to power, he's confronted by a 14-year-old boy calling himself Sebastian, who claims to be his long-lost son and the true heir to the Church of Blood. Eager to prove himself to the demon Trigon, Sebastian decides to marry his daughter, the Teen Titan, Raven. A few years later, Sebastian is rescued from this dimension by his followers in the Church of Blood, and he goes on to attack the Teen Titan known as Kid Eternity. As the Teen Titans did battle with the evil undead versions of their former teammates and Sebastian, Kid Eternity returned, this time with help in the form of the 8 fallen Brother Bloods. Next, we look at a couple of Brother Blood's classic storylines. First up, the new Teen Titans, Beware the Wrath of Brother Blood. And this new Teen Titans story is significant because it introduced the character of Brother Blood. He was one of the first major new villains introduced in the DCU in a long while, and it was a revolutionary story as well, because in 2 issues, they managed to introduce Brother Blood and the Church of Blood, define his character, and they set into motion events that would involve Brother Blood for almost a quarter of a century down the road. We also have Teen Titans, Family Lost. And this is the origin story for the new Brother Blood, Sebastian. This introduced his character, his origin story. It tweaked the powers of the Brother Blood character a little bit, making him more vampiric in nature with the whole drinking of the blood thing to gain people's powers. And it also made him not just a foe against the Teen Titans, but specifically an adversary of Raven, since now he wants to use her to win favor with Trigon the Terrible. Really well illustrated and fun story. In Brother Blood's Allies and Enemies section, we get some really cool shots of Raven and her daddy, Trigon the Terrible. And finally, the Original Thinking section continues the DC timeline with Part 30, Underworlds Unleashed. It's in this section that we learn the Earth, also known as Mother Gaia, has supernatural powers and has delivered those powers to certain creatures on this world. And we learn that some of these elementals have existed to this day. And here we have Brother Blood. And this guy, I'm sure most of you aren't very aware of. He's gone through a lot of different iterations. He was actually on the animated Teen Titans series, but he looked quite a bit different. He was an older guy. He wore like robes, his face was revealed, no mask or anything like this, and it wasn't quite so religious. But anyway, I love this version of the figure. This is another one like Hitman that when I saw the pictures and when I heard about him, I wasn't really all that thrilled. And it's another one that I really think you have to purchase and open to really truly appreciate. I love the fact that they went with the George Perez version from the 80s, not the more recent one from the comic books in the 2000s. Not that I don't like that version, it's just this one is just cooler on some level. I don't know. I love the color scheme, love the white cloak. The facial detail on this one is especially nice too. They actually have detailed, you can kind of see it here, the inside of his mouth. You can see all of his teeth, his tongue. I mean, it's fantastic. His eyes are glowing red, and I love the skull helmet mask thingy. It looks thingy. That's a professional word right there, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like, I don't know, a serpent or something, sort of engulfing his head. And, you know, they still have the ears are detailed on the sides there. His hands are fantastic, the way that the digits are done. It's a really great looking figure. All the way down to the boots and everything. It's just the details. Really nice. And you'll see a little bit more of those details with the better pictures in just a second. Brother Blood stands atop the DC logo, and the underside of his base has his name in a couple of different languages along with his serial number. And so you get an idea of his scale. Here he is against the Teen Titans. And as I said previously here a couple times already, this is a figure I really think you need to take out of the packaging to really appreciate. The pictures just don't do it justice, and I have to admit that I was kind of underwhelmed by this guy when I first saw him, but am pleasantly surprised to have another really cool looking villain, and another villain in general, honestly. Let's see, we'll start with the good. I love his pose, I love the color scheme, so glad they went with the classic Perez costume, not so much the modern day one. I think the modern day one would have been too busy. I don't really like the pale look of the new guy, Sebastian. This costume I just think works really well overall. From the boots, which I just think have a great look. I love the black, white, and red pattern that's on there. I love how it just travels all the way around the body. The pattern on this thing is just really cool. I love his cloak. It's huge. I love the way it's bellowing out and away from the body. You can see that it's only attached up at the shoulders. The rest of it's just a free-flowing piece. It's really nicely shaded. It's got a nice little wash on it, so it's not this really glossy white. It's a nice flat, almost looks like it's a cloth kind of material. It's really well done. Love the high collar on it. I love the wrinkling around the neck and how it goes up under his arms and wraps around him. It's really nicely done. A great effect. The little clasps are nice gold. His hands are excellent. They did every single finger on the figure, which you don't really see on this scale very often. That's usually something reserved for the special editions, so that's just a fantastic detail. And the face on this guy is outstanding. It's one of the best head sculpts I think that we've had in the series so far. The open mouth is really cool. The fact that they took the time to detail all of his teeth, upper and lower, it's so great. And the tongue. It's really cool, and it's an aggressive looking pose, you know. He looks like he's screaming at the top of his lungs or something. I love the headpiece. It looks like a serpent. The eyes on that are really nice. I love his eyes too, and the red and black and white of the costume just makes everything pop on the face, the head sculpt so brilliantly. And like I said, that high collar just makes everything stand out. Having that white flat background makes everything else just pop. It's so great. The bad, your guess is as good as mine on this one. If you can see anything bad on him, please point it out to me, aside from the minor little paint smudges here and there. Again, that's hand painted. That chalks it up to being a handcrafted item for me. The ugly, only thing to really watch out for on him is the cape. If he falls, it's probably going to break. The fingers are something to watch out for, but I mean, I've never really heard of any complaints in that department. Overall, this guy's fantastic. He is awesome to have. I love the obscure guys. What can I say? I love the color scheme. It's so different, and he looks great against the Teen Titans. Yeah, I love the villains, I guess. I'm partial to the villains, but this guy, definitely worth having, I think, in your collection. If you're not a completist, you're not an Uber fan, you can totally skip him, I understand that. But, man, I just think he's really cool, really nice to have. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for a quick teaser of the next one. This is sort of a hero turned villain, I guess. I'm not really sure. Anti-hero? Don't know how to describe this one. But it's sure to be an interesting one, and it's another female, which I always like having females added to the ranks. So stay tuned for that. As always, I am your host, the Monkey Boy, aka Jay to his friends. Thanks for watching.